just who you want to see on Instagram Live.
This is the first time I'm ever doing live. How about for you?
This is my second time doing Instagram Live. By the way, I'm Marika. I'm the LGBTQIA+ advocate here at Safe Harbors.
And I'm Katherine. I'm the Prevention Education Specialist and Sexual Assault Specific Advocate. And we're here because it's Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. Month of February. And so we're here to go over the topic of healthy relationships and definitions of love as we navigate relationships and life and educating ourselves and each other about what it means to have a healthy relationship.
Trying to learn and grow.
Yes.
Because we all can learn and grow. At
any
point in time, whether we're teens or older than teens.
Yeah.
Or younger
than
process.
Teens. Exactly.
Always something new to learn.
Yes. And so also as part of tdvam, we're going to be doing a zine, a collaborative community zine for teens in our community to contribute to on topics relating to healthy relationships. And so one of the prompts is going to be a list of your deal breakers or must-haves in a relationship. And so today we're going to be chatting a little bit about what our deal breakers are and our must-haves in a relationship. We're specifically doing must-haves, nice-to-haves, and deal breakers. I thought it was an important distinction to make between like what is our must-haves, but what is also just nice to have. I think a lot of people have this fear of maybe expecting too much. There are people who either have no idea, what they want, which is fine and part of the process. And then some people who are like, oh, I know what I want. And I'm worried that I want too much in a relationship. So I think I heard a relationship coach who I follow talk about the differences between what can you absolutely not live without, and then what would be nice to have, but you don't necessarily need it in a relationship in order to feel satisfied and fulfilled. So yeah, we did a little bit of work going over that. I guess first I wanted to ask, why do you think it matters? Like what we want in a relationship?
In my personal experience, if you don't know what you want in a relationship, it is a recipe for not success. To put it mildly.
Yes.
So we had, Katherine and I had a bit of a chat before this. Full disclosure, we're very close friends. We know so much about each other's dating histories by this point.
Yeah.
And our processes for making these lists were a little bit different. I'm just going to hold up this extensively detailed...
Wait, this is
that's something else?
Yeah, that's
just
kidding.
Else. She made a very, very detailed list.
I've been thinking about it just a little bit in my life.
Yeah. She's been thinking about it a lot. I like scrambled together this thing. We're going to share what these things actually say, but I had this moment of panic because I was like, I don't actually know what I want. Do I know what I want? I've never given myself the space to do that. And part of that is because as a queer person, I've been spending so much time trying to figure out even what kinds of categories of people I want to date. And so that has been more what I've focused on, and I haven't, especially because I feel like my choices are more limited as a queer person, and even more so as a queer person in a very rural environment. I haven't felt like I've been able to ask for anything, and I haven't really thought about that, and I've kind of, felt like I should just kind of take whatever came along, and haven't been the most intentional about dating, and I'm really excited to dive more into this myself personally, as a result of this.
Yeah. I feel
why does it matter? Why we that we know what we want? Because I've just gotten into so many relationships, having extremely basic criteria for what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
That was my criteria for like 3 years.
Yes.
I was like, I just want to date a woman. So,
yeah.
So
definitely.
I'm really thankful to be moving past that in my life.
Yeah, I think, and it's been like an ongoing process for me, too. And I think like the first step was knowing what I wanted. And then the next step is like trusting that I deserve all of those things. Mm-hmm. And there's like some scarcity mindset too, like the fear that I won't find the person who does have all of these must-haves. Mm-hmm. And so then my standards get a little bit lower, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's both like knowing and then trusting in that. And I think I'm still like in the process of trusting in it.
And holding steadfast.
Yeah, trusting that exists, that kind of relationship that we want exists. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do we want to just go right into it? Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk any more about your process?
Yeah. Let's talk more about like how do we find out what we want in relationships.
Yeah, and how do we decide, especially between those must-haves and the nice-to-haves.
Yeah. So one thing for me has been really like developing the relationship with myself, spending more time with myself, like doing activities that I enjoy, and like asking the questions of like, what are my interests? What are my passions? What do I enjoy doing? How do I enjoy spending my time? What fuels me? Like what gives me energy and what takes away from my energy? That's a big one. How do I like want to feel when I'm with other people? And that could be friends, anyone. What do I want? Because
relationships are not just romantic.
Yes.
We are talking about this in terms of a romantic partnership or a dating type relationship. But just want to be really clear that you are allowed and invited and encouraged to have must-haves for your friendships.
Absolutely.
For anyone who's close in your life. You know, I know that as a teen, you don't have nearly as much choice of who you get to spend time with, but as you are growing older, as you are making your own life, you do get to choose. And that process of choice is so important and so empowering.
Yes, I agree completely. Yeah, a lot of these must-haves relate to my platonic friendships too. And yeah, I love your point about like sometimes as a teen, like we might not have as many options or choices. We don't get to have the choice to like choose where to live all the time. And especially in a place like Wallowa County, you might only have a certain amount of peers around you that you connect with. But still, where's the choice that you can find in that maybe? And knowing what matters to you most in relationships helps in all realms in your life. It could even help, you know, in later on what kind of career you want to go into, what kind of job you want to have, what will fit your personality. So yeah, I think for me it has been a lot like spending time with myself, and journaling has been really helpful, and asking some of those questions about, you know, what do I want for myself and what is most important to me in my life. What fuels me, what making lists has been helpful. So doing lists like this, I've done it in other aspects of my life, in my friendships, in my careers too, like what I'd like to experience in those realms. Another thing I thought about, and I have thought about a lot myself, is thinking about examples of people in your life who have relationships that you admire in one way or another, and writing down or just thinking about what it is about those relationships that you like. Can you sense that they really enjoy their time together? Can you sense that they laugh together a lot? So maybe humor is really important to you. Do they just seem like there's this ease of talking that they can talk to each other about anything, and maybe having really good conversations is an important must-have for you or nice to have. That, and then also the opposite, like in a relationship that you don't want to emulate in any way. Why is that? You know, maybe it's a relationship you grew up around. Maybe it's a friend whose parents have been in a long-term relationship, but you see that it's unhealthy in ways. Like what is unhealthy, and getting specific about how that might be a deal breaker for you in your relationship. So some of that observing, I think, has been helpful. I grew up with not many healthy models for relationships.
I'm going to say most of us.
Yes, I think most of us have
Most of us,
yes.
Unfortunately, don't have a ton, you know, or at least a lot of us may not have a ton of examples of close, healthy relationships in our lives. Especially, I want to say, like, of partnerships, of romantic or, like, marriage-based partnerships. You know, I think that's something our society is really struggling, and so I just want to name that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so how can we learn even from that, you know,
Sometimes
what we want to it's hard, and
sometimes we have to envision our own futures, and that's why doing this kind of thing is so important.
Yeah, and trying to be as specific as possible, I think, too. And when we're talking about, like, models of relationships, how many of us have also, do we watch, like, even in the media, are there models that are healthy for relationships and realistic too? And that can be hard as well. Like, but I think maybe in doing it, like having an exercise like this, it might be helpful, even if that relationship, there are things about a certain relationship that you admire, other things you don't admire as much, but getting specific about what those things are can help someone, I think, formulate a list like this. Yeah, and then I also just experiences. Sometimes, you know, relationships won't work out, and, like, thinking about why your last relationship didn't work out and what that relationship taught you about what you want moving forward. Reflection, I think, is important, and this really helped me.
Yeah, I've mostly, what was the question? How do we find out what we want in a relationship? Mostly through a process of trial and error and figuring out what I don't want.
Yes.
Personally, I've been a little less intentional than Katherine. Again, mostly because I've been more, like, trying to figure out what my sexuality is, what my gender is, and those have made those questions secondary, actually, and harder to focus on when I feel like I have these other questions that I have to answer first. So shout out to anyone who's questioning their sexuality or gender. It's real. It does make things complicated, and it's totally beautiful, and you're an amazing person, and it's worth, like, all of the exploration. That exploration is worthwhile, and so is the relationship stuff, and any time you're able to understand yourself better, I think you're going to be able to have, like, a happier life. Yeah. More fulfilled.
Yeah, absolutely. You deserve it.
Yeah.
We all deserve that.
Yep. But I do a lot of crash and burning. I'm trying to work out of that. We're trying to, like, move in a positive direction.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
My good friend Katherine here says I am doing great, so we're gonna take that.
All right. Do you want to get into
Yes.
our must-haves, nice-to-haves, and absolutely cannot-haves? Okay.
Yes. Maybe we can trade these.
Yeah. Let's go.
Like one in each category.
Sure.
Bounce
Yeah,
back
let's do
and
that.
forth. Okay.
Okay. My first must-have, in no particular order, kindness, genuinity. So, how do they treat people they don't know? Do they lead with tenderness and generosity of spirit? So it's like a way of being. I mean, I think like we're all like, okay, of course we want kind. Like, it's kind of like a no-brainer. But, like, for me personally, like, even just like that question of like, how do they treat people who are houseless? You know, people who they come across who are asking for money. How do they treat like a server who might be, you know, really busy and not doing a great job? Do they get frustrated immediately, or do they like seek to understand before the judgment? So that for me is like a kindness way of living. Yeah.
That's wonderful. The first thing that came to mind for me is I really want this person to understand what oppression is. So understand that we were not created with equal opportunities. We were not created with equal support. That different people are going to have different struggles based on their different identities, and what resources and support they have, and that and understanding that it is everyone's role, and especially those with more privilege, to be helping create a more equitable, just, fair world where everyone can live a good life.
Yeah. I would say definitely that's like a value compatibility, like
value-based.
The value-based. Yeah, that's super important. Also to me, that is definitely, I put passionate about anti-oppression work, or at least eager to talk. Like, they don't have to even necessarily be doing it in their everyday, like their job, like the way that they make money, but like, is that a core value for them? Are they passionate about learning more alone and together about
you
those
had
issues?
that, but she has this in a different column than me.
No, I don't.
Oh, this
It's
is in
must.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. She just had so much
represent me.
so much stuff at the top of the page, but I misread it. I'm so sorry.
No, that is definitely my most.
That's good. I was a little concerned.
Yeah, it's just nice to have. That's fine. Maybe some people.
All right.
Okay. So that was another one of.
Oh, that was another one. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you
I'll
wanna
ping
go
pong
ahead?
after
Yeah.
that. Okay, this one seems super basic, but as it turns out in reality is not that basic. They have to actually want to be in a relationship with me. I've dated some people who are like dating to date, or it just happened, or like whatever. Personally, I'm not into that, and I want something that is a little more serious, that's a little more like heartfelt. I am a big romantic. I want that sort of romantic piece of love to be there. You know, I want them to want that, and specifically with me, because you know, and I've been in relationships with people that like I didn't actually want that specifically with them. You know, so it goes both ways. I need to want that, and they need to want that. You know, we both need to want that together. And I'm just gonna include sort of my next point, because it feeds in really well with that one, which is that I want what we want out of a relationship to be in alignment, to be similar enough that we want this, we like the ways that we define a relationship are similar. What we think a relationship looks like or should look like, or what we want our relationship to look like. It needs to be similar enough that we're on the same page about it. So we don't suddenly at some point find out that we weren't actually working towards the same thing, and one person wants this thing and the other person wants this totally different kind of thing, because that can be really painful. Yeah. So
definitely, because you can still like feel attachment and connection to that person, and then later on find out if you had been more honest with yourself and with the other person, maybe you could have like ended it a little earlier if what you wanted in the end were two different things. Just have a more gentle more gentleness, I think,
is possible when
Mm-hmm.
you are able to communicate openly and clearly about that in
Yes.
the beginning.
Yeah.
And be on the same page.
I think, like, in my experience, I've actually, I think subconsciously not had those kind of conversations because I'm scared of the result. I'm scared of knowing that, oh, we're actually not compatible. And that's just part of my work of, like, like really trusting that I deserve to have what I really want. And but I'm learning, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm being honest from the get-go.
I guess.
I actually have, like, the same one, basically, similar outlook on relationships and the work that it involves. So what is their outlook on what that work is? Are they able to have hard conversations and see the value in them? Someone who's not conflict avoidant cannot do that. And like, sees a relationship as a way to grow together and individually, and, like, sees it as part of that growth that they're gonna, like, have individually, but, like, it adds to it. Like, they see the relationship as a way of exploring themselves, and sees it as a journey. Like, it really is something that we're building together, and that it's not always gonna look one way. It's gonna change, and they're excited about the possible changes within and in the relationship as time moves on. And that's a big one for me.
Beautiful.
Should I? Yeah.
I have one more.
Yeah, go ahead. I just have several.
Catherine has
I cheated a little because I said, let's do a list of 3 to 5 of each.
How many?
And I did 6 of must-haves.
Oh.
Sorry.
I had 4 must-haves, but my list is also a little less, is a little more half-baked than Catherine. I haven't spent quite as much time.
I've been thinking about this for a while.
She's been thinking about it a lot more. I'm sure I secretly have at least 6. Number 4 is integrity. So, alignment between what they say and what they do. Alignment between what they believe and what they do. A sense of wholeness, a sense of genuineness, that they are who they say they are, that they don't compromise on who they are or what they believe. That's really important to me. That's on my must-haves.
Yes. Yes. It's kind of like, I don't know, when I think about integrity, I also just think about bravery. Like, it's like, it takes bravery to live with integrity like that. And to stick to what you believe in and have that reflect have that show up in your daily actions and behaviors. And agreed. One of mine is one of the top is curiosity. So curiosity about themselves and others, a curiosity about people who are different from them, is really important. Curiosity in terms of exploring our relationship, seeing it as a journey both together and apart, and also just, like, how their past has affected them, and contributed to the ways that, like, who they are today. We know psychology research shows that, like, our past experiences can affect who we are, and oftentimes do, and literally can change the way that our brains process what's happening in the present day. And our subconscious has a lot to do with that. Our subconscious can fuel and direct, like, our actions in present day, but our subconscious can be still stuck in the past. It can still be, back to, like, child selves, when we'd experienced a certain, trauma in the home. We experienced bullying in school, or whatever it is that was really hard for us to process, we may still be processing those experiences. And so being, I think for me as for a partner, being curious about how those experiences that might have been hard for them, how those hardships, how those hardships might be showing up in present day and kind of taking over at times, influencing the decisions that they make, influencing so much
things.
So much. So that for me is a curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a core
Curiosity.
value for them? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you keep going.
Yes,
because
okay.
you got more than me.
And then these this one I wasn't sure to put in the must-haves or in the nice-to-haves.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think it's a must-have. We can be goofy and silly with each other. We could just laugh and
that's why we're
don't
such
have to
good
be
friends.
so yeah.
Because we can be serious and goofy together.
Exactly. I need that balance. And then another, physically affectionate. I'm a very physical person. I like physical touch. It's one of my top love languages. So I need that to feel close. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, must-haves.
No, nice to haves. We just did must-haves.
No, I said must-haves. Must-haves are a wrap. I was going to say.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
Encourage you all to think about your must-haves.
Yeah.
And must-haves versus nice-to-haves.
And would love it if you commented on this post.
Yes.
With maybe a couple must-haves of yours.
You can comment now or you can comment later.
Yes, exactly.
Those are all options.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely really curious
Mm-hmm.
to see what you have to
Yeah.
say and what you think.
Yeah. And if you have any questions too.
And if you have any
on
questions,
any of these, we would love to answer.
let us know.
Yeah.
Nice to haves. This one may seem a little silly, especially to teenagers. This is a little more applicable to my life and a little bit less to yours, maybe. But lives here. Actually lives in Wallowa County. There aren't a million people here in Wallowa County. There are only 7,400 approximately. A few more in the summertime. But
still doesn't feel even that big to me.
it's not a huge place, and it can be hard to find someone with all of the must-haves here, or it can feel hard. I don't know if it actually is hard or if it just feels hard, and that's something I've been holding that tension, trying to discern, but it would be nice. It'd be nice if they actually lived here, because this is my community and this is my home and I don't really want to leave. And I really appreciate it when people understand Wallowa County, because it's a very specific place and it's where I was born. So
yeah, so that might be important for some of the teens too, who might want to stay here past high school. One of my nice to haves is loves to read. One of my favorite activities is to read together aloud, and so someone who would like to do that.
Cute. Very cute.
I feel like I'm blushing.
You're just imagining this scene reading together in your head right now. You're
yes, cuddle reading.
So in nice to haves, I put great sex, and I wanted to share that. I wanted to make sure that was in this sort of list and in this Insta Live, even though that's a little vulnerable, because sex is not the absolute most important thing for me, and I think our society really tells us that it should be, that romantic and dating relationships are all about sex, and if you're not having good sex, it's worthless, and all of this absolute ridiculousness that is not true and is not my experience. I've had some really great relationships that weren't hugely centered around sex, and so, if this person and I have phenomenal chemistry, that's great, and it would be nice to have. but it's not a must-have for me.
Thanks.
And it's totally fine if it is a must-have. Either way is good. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I think that's such a great point that we all have, again, like different priorities, and like for some folks that might be like ultra important, and others it might not, and it looks fine either way. Like as long as like the people in a relationship are also being honest about what they'd like. That can be great. Another nice to have for me is takes care of their physical health. I am not always the best at it. Like I want to get better at eating well consistently, eating enough veggies and fruits and all that. And I'd love to like be with someone who also prioritizes that, who also sees the importance in like how we treat our bodies every day, and like how we eat, and what we put in our bodies.
Another nice to have for me, I'm a huge cat person. If they like cats, if they have cats, if they like my cat, if they're into cats, it's a bonus. It'd be nice.
Yeah, Marika really likes cats. This is something.
Love cats.
Yep. I always want to get you like a cat like shirt of some kind, or like dress.
You're welcome to do that.
Why am I telling you that? Because now it's not going to be a surprise.
Bummer.
But yeah, that's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, Marika gift, cat related thing. Another one for me is loves travel. Loves to go travel and explore.
That curiosity
it's a big
piece.
The curiosity piece. Yeah, it definitely follows that. But gets more specific. It's one of the things I like to do that energizes me. So it would be great to share that with someone.
I didn't write this down, but I thought of it. I just converted to Judaism. I love all things Jewish. It brings me great joy and groundedness. I love the traditions and the rituals and the conversations, and it would be really cool to have a partner, to end up with someone who was Jewish, or who was interested in participating in Jewish stuff, but again, not a complete requirement by any means. I don't think it's just not the sort of thing that I would want to put on someone, and I wouldn't want to exclude someone otherwise really awesome because of that.
Right, and that's a good way to phrase like the differences between must-haves and nice-to-haves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mixture of introversion and extroversion. So I identify as an ambivert. So like that would be right down the middle of extroversion, introversion. I get a lot of energy out of being alone and being with myself, but also having a balance between that and being with others. If I have too much of either, I don't get replenished in the same way. So for me, like in a relationship, how that can show up is like we both like to have fun out, at dinner, at a friend's get together, but also just we can like have a Sunday where we're just like, okay, we're just going to stay in all day and do nothing but watch Shark Tank. I do like Shark Tank. Or Queer Eye. Yeah, that too. That's just what I've been watching. So,
Katherine's TV recommendations.
Yes. So yeah, like a mixture of also like city and nature, kind of. Like I like both. I like being in cities, and that's like, so I'm originally from New York. I have like that part of me, but like living in Wallowa County has been amazing to also explore this other side of myself. I feel like the more introverted side of being out in nature a lot and being kind of nestled. And so to share that with a partner would be a very nice to have thing.
There you go.
Yeah. Did you have another one?
No. Not at this time.
Okay. I just put like a last like into slow mornings and long meandering walks. Doesn't have to be on the beach.
So romantic.
Like just long meandering.
Long and
walks.
meandering.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
And then next are absolutely cannot haves, deal breakers.
I mean, so many things could go on
list.
this list.
And I feel like you could probably gather from like the must-haves.
Like the opposite
of that.
Of those, yeah.
Might be.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had really just one very specific one, which is, again, related to my queer identities. I have dated people who are in the closet or who are not open to or interested in sort of publicizing our relationship or interested in having that be visible beyond just us. And there have been some extremely valid reasons for that that I absolutely respect, and I wouldn't try to change on their behalf. Reasons of safety, reasons of just sort of where they are in their journeys. But for me, I just want to love loudly. I want to be able to have that love witnessed. I want to be able to be an example of queer relationships being normal and present and visible, especially in this community where we don't see very much of that at all in the public sphere. So that's a deal breaker for me. If someone is not willing to have that be a part of our relationship, if they're not open to being open about it, I'm not okay with that. And that's a little sad. That's tender. That's really tender. Different people are absolutely in different places again. Different people have different needs. Many people absolutely need to be in the closet, and that's a really sad reality of our society right now and where we live here. And I'm sending all of my love to all of you, regardless of whether you're in the closet or not. And that's not at all saying that there's anything wrong with that. And, as my own person, I need to respect my needs. And that is a need that has not always been respected and has caused me a lot of pain. And so I am trying to honor myself by naming that and respecting that.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's such a great way of putting it. Like, we can understand like why someone needs to make that choice for themselves. Obviously for many reasons, but at the same time honoring what you need in your relationship and how it affects the dynamic of your relationship with other people
and your own well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. I basically feel like you can take my must-haves and just I guess there isn't mutual respect in the relationship. So we don't respect each other's opinions. We don't respect each other's experiences.
Each other's ways of being.
We don't lead with that curiosity piece that I was talking about. And instead, there's a lot of judgment, and it doesn't feel like we can be our true selves within the relationship, that we can even explore ourselves within the relationship because it's not safe, even emotionally, to do that. We will get more into, like, in these lives or in these like Instagram posts, the social media posts that we're going to be doing this month, but like, what does it mean to be emotionally safe? So not just physically safe, but emotionally safe in a relationship. But that for me is a big one. Feeling like we can disagree and we are both kind about it and understanding about that. And a selfishness, self-absorption, someone who doesn't care enough to ask questions to get to know someone, and also just ask questions about like how someone's feeling that way and instead judges it. I think that is also tied to like the respect portion, but someone who only cares about how they're feeling and what they want, and not in the mutual building of something. Yeah, and one for me is definitely being traditional or like conservative in their value system. So like not the anti-oppression piece again, like doesn't believe that it's important to advocate for people who are different from you, and doesn't believe that inequity and how we all deserve to live freely. Yeah, and does not care about exploring oneself and others, which is part of the curiosity piece that is obviously very important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was I feel like that was a great conversation, a great start. Do you have sort of final thoughts?
I think I would encourage folks to try out the exercise themselves, to write down. We kind of followed 3 to 5 traits, behaviors of a partner, must-haves, nice-to-haves, and absolutely cannot have deal breakers, and come up themselves with that. This could be a fun activity to do with a trusted family member, a friend.
Your cat,
yes.
You need to know
Marika's doing it with their cat.
Deal breakers for sure.
Tonight. And it's a great like get to know you kind of like activity too. So I'm welcoming others to do that, and also to leave a comment and say maybe 1 or 2 of your must-haves and deal breakers. We would love to hear. Yeah. Or all of them. Share all of them with us.
Stay tuned. I think we're going to be on next Tuesday at hopefully around 3. We'll post more about it, but we'll be doing another one on a different healthy relationship topic, and keep an eye out for more details about the zine and how to submit to that. The deadline's going to be February 28th. It's going to be super cool, and everyone who submits gets some money.
Yes.
So, thank you
I will
so
put
much.
more details as a comment to this post.
Thank you so much for everyone who has watched this, especially all the way to the end.
Looking at you.
And I'll see you next time, and hope you stay healthy, happy, and well.
Yes. Thank you for joining.